Hey, all, Rob Cairns here. I'm the CEO and Chief Creator of Amazing Ideas at Stunning Digital Marketing. Today, I thought I'd do a little differently on this podcast as we all go through the COVID-19 podcast. I got my good friend Davinder Singh Kainith to join me on this podcast to talk about what it's like in India, and I talk a little bit about what it's like in Toronto and North America to give you people some insights on what different areas in the world are doing to combat COVID-19. So without further ado, let's go to the news and then my podcast with Davinder. In the news for today, for those who have been under a bubble, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, is in ICU right now battling COVID-19. He entered the ICU a couple of days ago. Apparently, he's not on a ventilator at this point in time, but is on oxygen. We wish the Prime Minister all the best in his recovery. The Queen of England took to the airways on Sunday, and frankly, she had a calming voice, a message the world needed to hear. And one of her messages was look for the future. There's no question we need to think about the future, and we need to think about it now. In other notes, local news in Toronto area, and probably in the rest of the world, it's become a problem where people are actually dropping their masks and their gloves on the ground. Folks, this could be contaminated equipment. Please dispose of it properly and safely, and please take care of your environment as well as the other people around it. We don't need any secondary exposures. Thank you very much. We just need to keep working all together. There's some discussion now that Major League Baseball might actually try and start their season in some empty ballparks. Frankly, I don't think it will be as exciting or as fun to watch. Point and check, I watched WrestleMania on the weekend just to see what was going on there. And the wrestling was good, but there was something missing about the atmosphere without a crowd being there, and all the matches were actually pre-taped. I think the WWE actually did their best they could under adverse conditions, but starting sports off without a crowd, I don't think that's really a good move. Do me one favor as we enter the Easter Passover weekends. Don't have big gatherings. Stay home and, communicate with your loved ones. One of the good ways you can use is Google Duo, which is free, and Google Duo just expanded it's to go from 8 people to 12 people. So that's one more avenue, as well as Zoom and a multiple of other ways to communicate with the world. So stay in touch via virtually, use the conferencing software, and please stay home and be safe. And now, on to this week's podcast with Davinder.
Yep.
Morning, everybody. I'm here with my friend Davinder Singh, and I always butcher it. I'm sorry, Kenneth. I don't know why. And Davinder lives in India, so I thought we'd have a little bit of a chat, just a casual chat about the differences between how India is reacting to COVID-19, how North American is. How are you today, Davinder?
I'm doing good. Very well.
Good. How's your family doing in all this, in the COVID-19 issues?
Well, all are at home. Some are watching television. Some are cooking. Some gets an opportunity to deep clean the house.
Yeah.
Some get the opportunity to sleep more.
And in your case, from talking to you, you're working more, right?
Yeah, because to be honest, nothing has changed for me as far as work goes, because I've been working from home for almost like 15 years now. So
Yeah.
I have my schedule right from morning to evening. So that remains. Yes, the only difference is I don't get to go out for my evening walks,
Yeah.
but that's fine. It will begin once the situation is settled, which I'm sure most of us don't know the end of this for now.
Now it's so true. I think I was telling you offline. We in Ontario, we've extended our state of emergency by a couple of weeks. So we're that our schools are effectively closed now till May. So you can guarantee it's going to extend it again. And our teachers are actually teaching their students online from home. I have a good friend of mine who's using Google Classroom actually to put, if you know Google Classroom, to put assignments up on. So there's a lot of that going on. Is your daughter still in school, or is she kind of? Um,
Well, the funny part is like March is the period or is the month when the exams happen or the test for students happen, and
yeah,
April is the start of the next session. So since my daughter is in very small class, she's in kindergarten, so they don't have exams. So March first week, my daughter and my wife went to in-laws for a
mm.
holiday, and now they're stuck there because the lockdown was announced, but they are enjoying there because they've got my daughter got their grandparents there,
Good.
so and other people around in the house, so they are enjoying there. No big deal. It's just like an house, another house.
Yeah,
So I'm here with my parents, and my wife and my kiddo is with she's with her parents, like her grandparents, and my wife's brother is also there, and my wife's brother's wife has also gone to her parents, and she's stuck there because this is the month when everyone goes to
yeah,
your grandparents house to have a little holiday. And normally the session starts in April, but now we are under lockdown for almost 3 weeks now, so
yeah.
let's see.
So you're not really going anywhere. It's like I was saying, my wife Jill has not a good immune system, so she's basically been staying in. And I know in our household, if we need something, the once a week to this trip to the store or the bank is on me, kind of thing. So we're just kind of, I mean, it's nice out here today. It's sunny. People want to get out, but they shouldn't be. Um, in India, you had mentioned you have a few people that are still actually breaking the rules, kind of.
Yeah, humans are complex creatures. Some understand things, some don't.
Yeah,
So the problem is, even one person breaking the rule and going out can infect thousands of people, because this is not like a normal virus that we have dealt before. It's highly communicable. It spreads like wildfire. And the funny part is, a person might be infected with it and he may not have any symptoms. So you probably would be acting like a Superman saying, "Oh, I'm not infected. I'm perfectly fine. I can go out." And yet you could be spreading infection. So there there are a lot of cases of this happening. And guess what? In Indian style, police treat them by beating them with sticks.
yeah. I mean, we have the same problem here too. We live in a highly Jewish Orthodox area in Toronto, and we have one of the biggest Jewish Orthodox populations in North America. New York's kind of number one, and if you've been watching the world, you know what's going on in New York City right now. It's a bit of a
Yeah.
mess. And
Yeah.
here, the problem with that population is they don't believe in social distancing, staying at home. They're still out socializing, and frankly, I wish people would just kind of listen. There's a reason the government's telling you to stay home. I don't care if you're in India, if you're in Canada, if you're in Japan, if you're in the US, just stay home, right? Right.
Yeah, government has been really strict, and no wonder it is showing in the stats. Like for a country like India, the size in
Mm.
terms of population, 1.3 billion people, the number of cases, deaths, and infection is still very low compared to other countries, which is good, primarily because they've been enforcing the lockdown really well, especially in bigger cities. And the tier two cities, the lockdown is pretty strict. Yes, there are a few things in villages and all that, but government is getting their act together, with police getting free hand. Obviously there's two sides of story. There will be people saying that, oh, human right violations are happening and this and that, but then you need to balance things out, because if someone is venturing out for no valid reason, no medical emergency, not buying essentials, and just going out to see how empty roads look, well,
Yeah.
You got to have a stick.
Yeah. Are you, I know from pictures in the media I've seen, you've actually got your military out on the streets telling people to stay home. Are you actually going to the point where you're fining and jailing people, or has it not hit that point yet?
Military is only in certain specific sensitive
Mm-hmm.
states and regions, not in our state. Yes, they have barricades everywhere, like in our inner roads there are no barricades, no police. But when you go out, because here they only have one or two exit points to the highway, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot go to the highway because they barricaded. You got to show your either you have the pass or you have some document to show that you have emergency going on. And if you don't have and you're traveling, guess what, you get arrested. So here what they've done is they've converted a local cricket stadium into a temporary jail. So
Oh, what a shame.
you but you make an offense, you go to that stadium, spend a night there, and then they will release you the next day because they don't want to keep you forever, because you might be spreading virus there. So it's just a lesson for you. You go spend a night there, then you go
Yeah.
to the home, and again next day you try, where you will land up. So they've converted a big cricket stadium here as a temporary jail.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, the approach they've taken in Toronto actually is they're handing out fines to individuals who, they don't social distance in parks and stuff. They're towing cars. They're starting to come down on businesses who should not be open with big fines. So there's going to be some people with the rude awakening. What is your government doing in India? Because I haven't read, to help people who have lost income or stuff like that. Are you putting any programs in place to help anybody? Do you know?
Well, they've announced that obviously, if you are giving some EMIs or you are paying for some debt, uh, banks have given 3 months waiver. Like
Okay.
you don't need to pay monthly installment for 3 months, and there will be no extra charges and all that stuff. That's for the people who are under EMIs and all that stuff. But the people who are, the more people that need help are the people who are poor. And India does have big population who is actually poor, in terms of they live on weekly or day-to-day basis on money
Yeah.
wise. So what they've done is they are giving them free groceries, free
Good.
ration. And in India, poor people, they have a card that identifies them that they are in certain category of poverty line. So based on that card, they are getting specific set of money directly transferred to their bank account.
Mm-hmm.
So they can use it during this 20 days period when they don't have any income to live by.
Yeah.
Plus, India fortunately has a lot of charities, a lot of religious institutes
Yep.
that help poor. So there are community kitchens almost in every city where people are fed daily on
Yes.
thousands of basis. So
So
they're
that's
pretty
helping.
good. Yeah, but you know what? It doesn't matter which disaster comes. It's just the poor that suffers the most, not
Yeah.
the middle class or the rich.
Yeah.
So
No question. It's funny. I was in a grocery store this morning, and the things that we're taking runs on in the store, it's really interesting. First, it was you read all the stories about toilet paper and North America.
yeah, toilet paper.
I don't have that problem because we basically buy for 6 weeks at a time. So that's because we buy big. And I'm not hoarding. That's just how we've always bought. The runs right now are on things like milk, eggs, believe it or not, flour and sugar. And you say, why flour and sugar? Because all these Canadians are at home with nothing to do. So they're all baking. They're all baking. And my wife included, by the way, my wife, Jill. I walked in the door today and there were cookies made again for like the fifth time this week. And I think tomorrow's recipe of choice is butter tarts. So there you go. So we're taking runs on a few staples, but we're not terrible. I mean, the food chain is working. How's the food supply in India? Is it going okay, or is it?
I think the first day we had a problem getting milk and bread, but because it was very strict and not many people were clear what was allowed, what wasn't. Even the police wasn't clear about it, to be
Mhm.
honest, because it was announced like last night, and the next day you are trying to figure out what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
But the second day it was all okay because we have like milk and bread eggs, these kind of things are available in very local shops which are like 5 to 10 minutes walking distance.
Mhm.
Other than that, vegetables, we usually have farmers market. Those are closed because you cannot practice social distancing in a farmers market.
No
So
way.
those are closed. So but we do have alternative thing that runs in parallel, which is vendors. Vendors with their carts, they usually come into your inner lanes,
Mhm.
straight next to your house. So they have increased now because the farmers market have closed, so all they produce is coming on carts. And now you can buy anything by staying at your home,
Yeah.
by just opening your door and telling him, I want this. And other than that, the online delivery is all shut. Amazon and all those big players, they are not delivering anything.
Yeah.
Like they are completely shut down. So people are relying on these local things. And as far as the other stuff, we normally, it's a norm in Indian households that you buy the flour, sugar, and all that stuff for whole month.
Yeah.
Like once we don't do weekly shopping for those things. So most of the houses would already have like few weeks of stuff with them. So
We don't either, actually. Baking stuff you do once a month too. So yeah.
but again, the problem comes to people who are poor, who
Yeah.
don't buy for a month because they don't have money to buy it for a month.
Hmm.
So for them, things are a little hard, but government is trying to help to an extent they can. But there are other charities that are really, a lot of people are showing such a nice side of theirs by donating and
Yeah.
things, which is really heartening to see. It brings a country as one together, even though we are like pot boiler of all kinds of
Yeah.
people, like different colors and all that stuff. But it's good to see. And it could be like a bad thing bringing people together, but it's still bringing people together.
I would agree. I would tell you, in Canada, one of the things that I think that this has happened is it has united our country in a big way. I mean, we have a lot of issues and politically, and even the different political factions in our country are all on the same page right now. So I think people have united, and it's tough to see that a crisis, and this is probably the worst crisis the world has had since World War II, in my opinion. And World War II was not fought on Canadian soil. So we haven't seen anything to this extent. A lot of it was in Europe and, and in Asia, and we haven't seen it to this extent. So,
Yeah, because ever since I've been born, like I've never seen such kind of a situation where everything is closed.
yeah.
And we have other things like dengue, malaria, SARS, MERS, but these problems are only isolated to certain areas of a country or a region.
Mm-hmm.
But this coronavirus is highly communicable. Like it maybe it transfers with mediums that scientists are yet to discover.
Yeah.
So really don't know, but it spreads like wildfire for
Yeah.
sure.
People need to be smart. I mean, I walked into the bank before I walked in a grocery store, and I tell you, I washed my hands before I walked in the store because I have a bottle of hand sanitizer in my bag. And that wasn't because even coronavirus, I've always carried one. I washed my hands in the bank before I talked to the teller. I washed my hands after I talked to the teller. I washed my hands when I walked out of the bank. I'm not paranoid, but I mean, if you want to keep the spread down, that's what you have to do. It's that communicable.
Yeah, because in public places, doorknobs, handles,
Yeah.
and even the currency notes, they are full of all the bacteria that you can only see
Yeah.
under the microscope, but not in
We have a
real.
number of big stores who will not take currency right now. It's credit or what we call debit right into your bank account. Tap your card and go. They're just not taking anything. So, um, has your prime minister been very visible in all this and the leaders of your country, Davinder?
Yeah, he's been very active. Like he may not be the perfect person, but then all leaders get flack for certain things. But he's
Yeah.
been really proactive and he took a very hard decision in a place where he is because India relies big on economic activity within our country
Mm-hmm.
because we don't export that much if you compare it with China or even US, right? We
Yeah.
have big internal consumption. That is what runs the economy. And obviously we import a lot, but export we don't do much. And stopping your own home engine is like stopping the money cycle.
Yeah.
But he realizes that a country like India, where social distancing would not be possible for big chunk of population because they live so close by, this disease can spread like wildfire. And you got to commend him for being very brave and shutting down a country.
Hmm.
And here, not a state shutdown happened. The whole country went into lockdown
Yeah.
on the same time, on the same date. Obviously, our state went into lockdown a week before the national lockdown because our state had 90,000 non-resident Indians coming out of all different countries
Wow.
into India.
Yeah.
So because of this, obviously, when panic spreads, people want to go back to their own homeland, but they may not be living here. So when 90,000 plus comes to just one state where I live, there's always a panic. How do you screen so many people? How do you track so many people? So our state was under lockdown and they were searching for every person that came back during that 1 week from,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter from which country. So they were pasting stickers outside their home that no normal public person should enter their house, and they were checking them every other day for their temperature and all that, which I found it very funny because normally government is not supposed to be that efficient, but they were very efficient in doing
Yeah.
these things.
It's funny in Ontario. I was mentioning to you before we got on the call, and what we're seeing in Canada is long-term care homes. We have one long-term care home north of Toronto where we've had 17 deaths already, and we've had, I think we're up around somewhere around 25 or 30 staff that have been infected in that same home. We've got another home right in the city of Toronto that's had 8. Um, the problem with elderly is a lot of them have issues already, so just sort of compounds that, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
we're seeing that we've got in Ontario something like 400 long-term care homes that have, at least one case, believe it or not. So it's becoming an issue. The other issue we're having here is all our snowbirds have just come back from Florida. And if you've been following the news, you know the state of Florida and the governor in Florida is a bit of a disaster. So, I mean, they've all come home. And my mom is from a rural northern Quebec town, which is one of our provinces. And that rural town, which is 12 hours north of Montreal, already is over 45 cases, just because the snowbirds coming home and saying, here you go. It's a bit of a problem. So you mentioned your work continues, so you're doing, do you have any advice to some business owners out there who are struggling right now and what they should do while they're bored or during downtime?
I think the biggest would be for those businesses who have never taken the online medium of doing their business seriously. Now is the time to take pause and think about it
Yeah.
and also take action. Now, the thing is, a lot of people would jump in during these 2-3 weeks when everything is shut down. Hey, I need to get online. But once everything is open, they get busy with their offline store, offline business.
Yep.
Yeah, I was supposed to do something online, but maybe we'll do it the next time. Maybe I don't have time for it. So if you have this kind of mentality, guess what? Be it coronavirus or any virus or any situation, you can never leverage online. I think people should realize that online can be a parallel medium to get more sales, get more business for any type of business. It's
Mm-hmm.
just you got to be a little creative and look for an expert help who has done it, because most people have this perception, hey, I need an online presence. That means I need a website. Yes, you need a website, but you need a website that works for your business. There's a
Yes.
difference between both of them. There's a website that works for your business.
Yes.
And most people who want to get, they only know they want a website. And most people who offer those service only know that I can only make a website. But a website that works, you need experienced professionals who know how to convert your leads into customers. And that is where the money lies.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the way to get those leads is you have to generate traffic to your website. So a lot of really good web designers don't understand leads, don't understand traffic. They don't understand Facebook ads. They don't understand we were talking before we got on this call. One of the things I keep saying to my clients and all this, if you're going to advertise, now's the time. Keywords are being bid for less than ever before. Google
Mm-hmm.
and Facebook are offering discounts or free ad credits if
Credits.
you spend money. So why wouldn't you? And I've got client I'm jumping on a call with this afternoon who they now want to move to an online booking system, and I've been pushing them for 6 months, and it's time. It really is time to sit down and look at your business and say, by the way, what can I automate? What do I do 5 times in a day that I should just automate and be done with?
Yeah, adding an online medium to your business is just like adding another floor to your house.
Yeah.
You are not, in the end, it will serve you in some way or the other. Even when the situation goes normal and there's no coronavirus or any other pandemic fear, that one floor that you add to your business is going to contribute to some extent. Again, it will depend on how you use that floor space, because everyone will have different amount of time that they can. Again, if you want to get output, you got to put some input, right? So you need to
Mm-hmm.
put some input in terms of what you want and work with an expert and not just any other. uh, I know, because in our ecosystem there are so many people who can build website, but there are not many people who can build website that works. So for clients, you need to, as a client, you need to be smart enough to identify and find the right person to do it for you.
Yeah. And, it's funny, as people move to the online world, people like you and I have used things like Zoom, Microsoft Teams. If you've dabbled in that, a lot of teachers are moving to Google Classroom in a real hurry and all this. And if you pick up the media, our favorite tool, even though we're doing audio only, that we both love to use, Zoom, has been all over the media this week about how
Yeah.
Zoom is bad, how privacy is bad. I personally think it's people not understanding how to set the tool up versus the privacy. Do you have any thoughts on that, or do you not even want to go there?
Yeah, because this is a very classic thing. Like, just going off a track a little, like other day someone was saying page builders are bad for your websites and all that.
I
Now,
saw that combo.
and I was surprised. I was like page builders are not bad. It's how you use page builder that is
Yeah.
bad. So that doesn't. Now, if you cause an accident, you don't blame Honda for the car you were driving. It was you who caused the accident, right?
Amen.
Now,
Yeah.
so this is kind of a thing. And with Zoom, I don't think so. This is, again, this is lack of knowledge. Like, my privacy is this and that.
Yeah.
But tell me, how many people do actually read terms and conditions? No one actually reads it. Even with GDPR and all that stuff, terms and condition privacy pages are still like a bibliographic
Yeah.
mammoth pages which no one wants to read. They want to scroll down and
I don't
click.
remember the last time I read one.
No one reads it. And guess what? People are making so much noise about Zoom and all that stuff. When you install Gmail client on your phone, or when you install Facebook on your phone, or when you install Instagram, TikTok, and all that stuff, what happens to your privacy? Don't they take your data? They
Even
actually.
better, when you install Uber on your phone, Uber knows and sells your data where you've traveled to.
Exactly. They know every second of time that you've spent on which place and how much time did
Yeah.
you. And actually they can pinpoint the exact location in that place. Even when you're in a building, they can tell you which 2 rooms you were restricted
Google
with their.
Maps is now yelling at me to review the bank I was in this morning. So there you go. But and I agree with you.
And why these services are free? These are free not because they're providing you with some charity or something. They make money from your data. Simple. And what Zoom makes money from? Zoom will also take some data. Obviously, they have paid plans and all that, but they also have liberal free plans. So if they're using your data to make more business, I don't see any harm with it. You clicked on accept it on their privacy policy and
Yeah.
terms and condition. Now you didn't read it. That's your problem.
I actually think we need to change the word free to no cost. And
Exactly.
the reason I say that is I was in a grocery store this morning, doing my once a week shopping like a good boy that I'm supposed to be before I go hide in my cave. And what's the first thing that the cashier said to me? Do you have your points card? And the minute you hand them that points card, they know my frequency I've come in. This is even pre-internet. They know what I spent, what my average spend is, how often I come. Yeah, I get something for using that points card, but it's not free. The cost is your data. And,
Yeah.
people get on Facebook all the time and they complain about, oh, Facebook does this and Facebook does that. If you read the terms of service, it's all there. What
Yeah.
we need to do is get lawmakers who are at the government levels who don't understand technology just to stay away. That's the bigger problem.
Exactly. And what Eurozone and European Union did with GDPR and UK people did with GDPR, I think it didn't help anyone. It just complicated the whole problem. What GDPR did, it added bunch of pop-ups, which by default will click on accept it. And even you click on accept it, you don't know what you accepted on. And if you don't click on accept, ideally you should log out from the website. The website should close itself. Nothing of that sort happens. And have the privacy policy or terms and conditions got simplified? No, it hasn't. Maybe 10 pages have become 9 pages. They're still the pages.
Yeah. The only rule we have in Canada right now with digital privacy is you cannot add somebody to a mailing list without their express consent. So, and that doesn't mean walking in to a store and, you've seen stores, I don't know if you do in India, where people say to sign up to their mailing list, put your email address here. You still have to send them a confirmation. But it doesn't mean double opt-in. As long as you have express consent. And we've actually fined companies millions of dollars for breaking that consent because they assume, you go to a networking event and some guy takes your name and adds it to his mailing list. That's like a big no-no. So, but I think, the reason Zoom's getting so much attention, I don't know if you looked there, their share price has gone from $20 a share to $190 a share. And I'm smiling because guess what I invested in 3.5 weeks ago?
Zoom?
Zoom. Yes.
Oh man.
I saw it coming. I mean, to be fair, I've also been playing with Microsoft Teams and all this.
So I'm talking to a rich guy now.
Yeah, thank you. But rich is only the value of what you've got. So you can be rich in more than just money.
Exactly. Actually, a lot of people, ask me like, how much money do you make every month? Like people are so curious about it. Then I say, money is a state of mind. Like my state of mind may call me rich or may call me poor, depending on, what money figure sticks in the median terms of my head. So there's that.
Somebody said, "Oh, you need to win the lottery," and I said, my response has been when I got back together with my wife, and I've talked about that story pretty publicly, and we got married. That was winning the lottery. So it's all your perspective on things.
Exactly. Half glass, half full, half empty, glass dirty, glass about to fall. It's all about perception, how you view the scene at hand.
Yeah. The other thing worth mentioning as we move on is if the biggest problem right now I'm seeing, and I'm getting calls from clients, is they all have their people working at home and none of these people understand computer security. And now they're all working at home, which is just compounding the issue even more because now you've taken, workers who work for major corporations, you've thrown at home with no IT support, no security knowledge, no nothing. And they're all having problems. And what I'll share with people on this call is we sell our beer in what we call beer stores. They're basically government-run stores that sell only beer. And they got hit with a ransomware attack in Ontario, and we're down for 5 days, actually, in the midst of all this mess.
That's not...
No, not at all.
Terrible.
But all these people, these teachers, these business owners are all working from home. And now they don't have security protection for what they're doing. That's even a bigger problem, if you know what I mean.
They will blame Microsoft because that's Windows, right? If you're working on Windows, or Apple will get the flack.
Yeah. Before we go, do you have one tip for a business owner for something they should do to help their business right now in this downtime? One quick tip.
I think it's a good time for everyone, whether you have online presence or you don't have online presence, to look how online setup can help your business in more productive and more efficient down the line, because online world is bound to grow. It is not gonna, it's not gonna contract. It's just expanding day by day.
Yeah.
So how you can, and obviously there are certain types of business which can also leverage by hiring remote people, because in our ecosystem, a lot of big companies have almost 50% of their workforce as remote, which helps you a lot. Obviously remote has advantages and disadvantages, so it depends on your business. But the bottom line would be, explore how online things can help your business being more productive, more efficient, and more, future proof, because these kind of events will happen again. It could be a different virus name, it could be a war, you never know, because the way people are building missiles and all that stuff these days, so you never
Yeah.
know. So see how you can be more future proof, how you can serve your clients even when your physical presence or your offline presence goes for a toss, like in this situation.
Mhm.
So obviously it won't apply to every business, but at least with one set online piece, there's one standard, medium with which you can communicate with your customers on a regular basis. Like, even if a business is offline, say for example there's a furniture shop that makes furniture, custom furniture, obviously such kind of business will be completely offline. Like, person will come to a shop and see what they want to order it. But now in this time and scenario, the shop would be closed, right? But if you already had the online medium set up, you can always communicate with your customers. You can actually pre-sell things. You can and bring in the money more, in early in your business, and offer them discount. I've seen a lot of people do that. Like, they're offering them discounts, and
Mhm.
so that they will deliver the product, a physical product, down the line when things get stable, but they're
Yeah.
bringing in the money because they need money. So getting money from customer is a better thing than getting money from bank as a loan, right?
Yeah, I would agree. Thanks, Davinder. If somebody wants to get a hold of you for some coaching or help, how's the best way?
Well, I run a lot of websites, which I'm not going to name and spam the show, but you can go to, you can search for my name, Davinder Singh Kainith, on Facebook, or you can go to my website called smartwebcreators.com.
Yeah. And by the way, join the Smart Web Creators. I'm going to spam the show community on Facebook. There's a lot of good people in there that can help you and help you with your business and help you succeed.
Yeah, I'm always on Facebook. You can go to Facebook/I for India, followed by Davinder, Davinder,
Yeah.
and you can connect with me anytime, because I'm always on Facebook, and I love Facebook, even though they take all my data, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Thanks, Devinder. Have a great day. Be safe, and please take care of your family.
You too. Nice
Thank you.
chatting with you. Bye bye.
Bye. I want to thank you for joining Devinder and I for this great chat on the differences between India and North America during the COVID-19 crisis. For further marketing information or any help with your business, you can reach me via my website at StunningDigitalMarketing.com. You can also reach out on Twitter. I'm at Rob Cairns. This podcast is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much. As always, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and make your business succeed. Bye for now.